Hispanic Lifestyle is pleased to have the support of Wells Fargo Bank. For more information, visit their website at wellsfargo.com. With roughly 60 million Latinos in the U.S., we highlight Latinas of influence, businesses surviving to thrive. We talk culture, travel, health, wellness, music, entertainment, and of course, food. Our passion is to share inspiring stories with the community. I'm Richard Sandoval, and this is Hispanic Lifestyle.
Buenos días a todos. My name is Lynn Gray. I am the director of the Office of the Small Business Advocate, which is in the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. Our office, Cal OSBA, serves as the principal advocate in the state on behalf of small businesses, representing their views and interests, disseminating information to them, and advising on state programs and regulations. And prior to my appointment by the governor, I was the chief executive officer of the Fresno Metro Black Chamber of Commerce and Chamber Foundation, where I reorganized a small nonprofit into a community-based enterprise with a budget just over $10 million. And as a small business advocate in that role, I was keenly focused on coalition building, policy, and inclusive economic growth for local entrepreneurs and small businesses.
Wow. I know that before we started recording, we were talking off camera. I have been very active with Hispanic Chambers of Commerce. I'm well aware of some of the fight and struggle. So I'm so happy to see that you're in the position. And as I understand it, you just started back in April. Wow. That's my wow comment. But number two, what a time to be starting this job. I hope you're extremely excited about it, because what a challenge and what an opportunity to really succeed.
It is a challenge, and frankly, it's an honor to be appointed to the governor into this position. I have been a lifelong advocate for small business, so I bring a lot of street experience, if you will, to the position. I know what it's like to provide technical assistance services. I've been a small business owner myself. And small business owners, as I always say, put their entire life into their small businesses. It is the way that they feed their families. It is the way that they send their children to college. It is the way that they plan for their retirement, take care of their parents, and all of the other things that all of us human beings want to do to have some quality of life. So I am directly, personally, and passionately connected to the Cal OSBA mission, which is to really support economic growth and innovation in California. We work to ensure that California's small businesses and entrepreneurs have the resources they need to start up, to connect to capital, to connect to new markets, and to grow their businesses.
What is going to be your priorities over the next few months, especially as California businesses start to reopen?
You know, that is a good question. In alignment with Governor Newsom's focus on building a California for all, my office is committed to creating an inclusive entrepreneurial and small business ecosystem that eliminates opportunity gaps across regions, zip codes, race, and gender. You know, our charter has three primary objectives that are missionally aligned. We're a resource provider, as I mentioned earlier. We're providing easily accessible information, training, consulting, tools for small businesses and entrepreneurs. We are an advocate, as our name implies, by serving as the voice of small business and entrepreneurship across the state. We're in a position to advocate for the special needs and the special priorities of small businesses, which we know are very, very different than those of large businesses. So we are convening experts, we are addressing barriers, and partnering with private sector organizations to create market solutions for problems that our small businesses face. And then, lastly, we are very focused strategically on advancing resilience, because I have said this recently. We have to face the fact that COVID-19 is not going to be the last threat that we experience. And my office will continue to make resiliency a core priority, expanding business resilience and supporting disaster recovery in every way that we can. So we're committed to taking, swift action and being courageous in protecting our residents and our small businesses in this state.
With your chamber background and your entrepreneur background, I know that introducing people, connecting people with resources just probably comes second nature to you. Is there some resources right now that the state of California is offering small businesses that, quite frankly, we're not taking advantage of now that you've been in the position for a little bit? Is there a trend that you're seeing and that you really want to bring some of those resources to light and basically shake up some of these small businesses and say, what is the matter with you? These resources are available.
Well, Richard, you make a solid point there, is that the closed mouth does not get fed, right? We have heard overwhelmingly about access to capital, right? And we know that there are certain groups of folks that don't get the access to capital that they need. But one of the things that we recognize in my office is that it's not just about capital. We also need to emphasize building strong small businesses through their development and increasing revenue streams. And so to that end, Cal OSBA focuses on access to government marketplaces and private supply chains to support small business in state procurement issues. It's one thing to get the capital to start, but you've got to have a solid business case, and you've got to be able to generate the contracts that support the income and help you grow, add jobs, and become a solid local employer.
Several of our honorees this year are in the restaurant industry and the food service industry. Can you talk a little bit about the workforce? They're having trouble reopening because of the workforce. So if you're comfortable with answering that question or talking about that subject, I would appreciate your insights.
So let me just generally first say that we've got to recognize that we've got 4.1 million small businesses here in the state of California. They represent 99.8% of all businesses in the state, right? And they employ 7.2 million workers. That's about 50% of the state's total workforce. So when we think about who's working, who's not, where they're working, where they're not, we've got to recognize that 50% of those folks are working in a small business. So it can't be lost on us that California clearly has a very, very strong small business sector that is creating jobs. I also want to underscore that due to great policy here in California, we've given small businesses the tools necessary to create quality jobs, right? We have a retirement program that's independent of the employer through CalSavers. We have a healthcare program that's independent of employers through Covered California. We have a paid leave program, independent. So we have created a structure here that provides benefits to employees that are not tied to the employer. That gives our employers great flexibility and latitude. And I think that it gives them also the freedom to continue to innovate in the manner in which we have seen the restaurant industry innovate. I think they have frankly been at the cutting edge of that during the pandemic, seeing many of them pivot to takeout only, and this development really of the convenience economy. I mean, takeout is no longer what takeout used to be. It's a totally different beast, totally different animal, supplanted by technology. So I venture to say that, you know, some of the employment downtick, if you will, or the trouble that restaurants are having is really realignment of that workforce and realignment of needs and priorities.
Once again, takeout isn't what it used to be. I actually kind of enjoy the meal and bringing it home, and you know, it's a do. Actually, I lie and tell my wife that I actually made that meal, but as an advocate, I'm wondering if you'll share some advice. I know you've been sharing bits and pieces here, but is there a bit of advice, actually words of encouragement to some of these businesses that are surviving to thrive?
Surviving to thrive. I like the way that you said that, because that implies uptick, that implies hope, that implies positivity, and most importantly, a solid economic recovery. And I know that that is a priority for Governor Newsom. It is certainly a priority for my office. And I think that Governor Newsom has shown that in his comeback plan, right, where he is boldly recommending investments in our small businesses and in that recovery. For starters, that additional $1.5 billion that he has requested for the California Relief Grant Program, that's providing grants $5,000 to $25,000 for our smallest and our hardest hit businesses that are earning revenues under $2.5 million a year. Significant. That investment would take this program to $4 billion in direct grants, the largest of its kind in the nation. So California continues to lead. What advice do I give our small businesses? Our small businesses need to continue to live, to fight another day. It is a fight in pursuit of the California dream. And there are resources in my office. You can reach us on business.ca.gov. Go to the Office of the Small Business Advocate on the menu. We have a network of technical assistance partners, and those partners are located throughout the state of California. They have tremendous resources. Classes, consulting, can tie you to specific vertical market expertise. We have iBank, we have the California Rebuilding Fund. We have tremendous resources. And back to what I said earlier, the closed mouth does not get fed. So reach out, whether it's close, whether it's far, we're online, we're an email, a phone call away. Don't sit in your office, in your storefront, Or if you're one of the 50% of small businesses that are working from home, do not sit there without reaching out to the partners that have the answers and the resources to help you grow and scale your business.
Well, again, congratulations on your new position. Without a doubt, convinced that you are going to do a great job traveling up and down the state of California and helping out our business community. I'd like to thank you for participating in our BizCon 2021. And I'll leave you with the final word, if you will.
Thank you. Muchísimas gracias.
Didn't get enough? There's always more at HispanicLifestyle.com. And follow us on your favorite social media platform.